Hello there everybody, and welcome to this feature presentation on YouTube. I am King Mac, your hamburger pal. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to enjoy a hot fresh cheeseburger along with some delicious golden french fries, a tasty milkshake, and a nice soft drink. Also be sure to grab some hot buttery popcorn while you're at it as you enjoy this episode of TTBurger Game Reviews on YouTube.
I'm low key like the mo jig 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 jig. I'm low key like the mo jig jig jig. I'm low key like the mo jig jig jig. I'm low key like the mo jig jig jig.
Welcome back, my friends! You are watching TTBurger Game Reviews here on YouTube, and I'm your host, Tony. We are back with more infamous game reviews here. We're on the final part of my infamous franchise. We have episode 256, and this episode 256 part 4 of 4 parts. And we got out of the final part of the infamous franchise, continuing with another PlayStation 4 infamous game, once again by Sucker Punch Productions. And before I get started, I want to give a shout out to Freaking HD and Sub-Zero MX Mac, alongside the Hyperlamnia, Prequel Stateside, Griffin Puff, Megs, Black Healer, along with the homie RJ, Red Hood Assassin, Hokojira, Master Pool 69, Desert Cutie 22, Red Hood Assassin, and more and more and more. And we're going to be diving into a prequel to Infamous Second Son here and stuff. Before we get started, those things what happened in episode 206 part 3 of 4. Here is an infamously TTBurger recap, Infamous, that'll show you all what you missed in episode 206 part 3 of 4. And I took a look at Infamous Second Son for the PlayStation 4 and gave it an 8 out of 10 because it was a fantastic Infamous game. But Delson was not that good of a character, and just that it came off as a little bit lacking in some parts, and there was some atrocious frame rate issues and everything like that. But overall, though, the game was fun and enjoyable, and definitely worth owning in your collection for sure. Infamous games for sure, and for PlayStation 4 games. But now we're going to zoom ahead to the year 2014, August 26, 2014, August 27, 2014. Take a look at a prequel expansion to Infamous Second Son, starring Abigail Fetch Walker, voiced by Laura Bailey. We got it right here. It's an Infamous First Light for the PlayStation 4, released digitally in North America, but released physically and digitally college and other places. And it was released in North America and digitally, for August 26, 2014, and a day later, August 27, 2014, physically and stuff. I've looked at the PAL version because it is a physical copy and stuff, and I like physical copies of games. That's what we're doing there. Infamous First Light is an infamously great prequel where we play as Abigail Fetch Walker, where we see what happens before the events of Infamous Second Son, and it's nice to play the female protagonist in the Infamous franchise, where her with the neon powers, going to Seattle, Washington, and more. However, like an expansion, it is infamously short and infamously over before you know it, but that does not mean it is infamously bad game or anything like that. It is infamously somewhat lacking and infamously shorter, but it gives us better of the doubt because it still has some infamously fun to be had here. No Delson roll this time, but that's okay with me because Fetch is infamously awesome and infamously badass. But let's continue. The story of Infamous First Light takes place in Seattle, Washington once again before the events of Infamous Second Son. Abigail Fetch Walker, we'll call her Fetch, is a conduit being taken by the D.U.P. in Curtin K prison that's ordered by Brooke Augustine, the main antagonist of Infamous Second Son, to demonstrate her powers by battling holographic foes made from another conduit named Eugene Fetch. Then tells the story of the events happened prior to her being arrested and taken by the D.U.P. 7 years earlier, we learned that Abigail Fetch Walker was one of the first conduits that emerged following the beach rampage across the countryside. Fetch had conduit powers that she was trying to control, but one day she injured her classmate and ran off with her older brother, Brent Walker. They both turned to drug use, but Brent got clean and tried to help Fetch get clean too. Brent then got a job working for gangs to get enough money to buy a boat so they can sneak across the Canadian border to start a new life from the D.U.P. But then a Russian mob gang called the Akurians destroyed the boat and take Brent hostage, and now Abigail Fetch Walker is on the quest to get her brother back. The story is infamously great. Sure, it's not as infamously deep as Infamous Second Son, but it's still infamously well done in the end. The presentation of Infamous First Light, infamously excellent graphics on par with Infamous Second Son. The character models are infamously detailed and infamously lifelike. Abigail Fetch Walker looks and animates infamously well, along with the supporting characters like Brent Walker and more. Even though some of the characters infamously lack facial animations such at times, they still look good. The environments are infamously detailed, especially with how Seattle looks with the infamous crisp lighting and infamously realistic weather effects, and infamously more. The explosion and weapon effects are infamously awesome, just as infamously making it last time in Infamous Second Son. Infamous First Light does, however, have some infamously noticeable frame rate issues, but they are not as infamously common as they were in Infamous Second Son, so it's not as infamously big of a deal here. And Fetch's outfit looks infamously cool too. The sound of Infamous First Light is infamously good, but not infamously the best. The voice setting is infamously okay, but some of the actors are infamously hokey and infamously hammed up or infamously phoned in. Laura Bailey as Abigail Fetch Walker is the infamously lone bright spot of the cast of the voice setting of the Infamous First Light, while some of the other voice actors do an infamously better job too, a good job at start that. Some of the other actors, it's still with the voice setting, it's infamously really good, but could have been better because some of it sounds infamously phoned in and stuff at times as well. The music does have an infamous feel to it, and here it works infamously really well. The weapon and special effects are infamously good, not infamously the best, but still infamously good. Gameplay is infamously fun, and infamously enjoyable Infamous First Light, just now without its infamously flaws and infamously complaints. For stars, it's placing Infamous Second Son with a female protagonist. As Abigail Fetch Walker, you're going with your neon powers to complete the missions and more. Fetch's main quest is to find her brother Brent and get out of Seattle. The game goes back and forth from past and present 2 years earlier in Seattle to the present time under Brooke Augustine to train and master her powers while telling the story to Brooke Augustine at the same time. And while it works infamously somewhat decently, not infamously the best, but still infamously decent as a thing. I do admit I'm not an infamously big fan of the present day levels with Brooke Augustine them because they are just training sessions for Fetch's new powers. But at least there are more of the Seattle missions though, so that is good. You have your powers for Fetch while you shoot neon missiles, and you have some really badass neon melee attacks too. Hell yeah, it's fucking awesome infamously and stuff. You have side missions like neon graffiti and chasing the neon to get some upgrade points and destroying D.U.Ps and more. And I do like the side missions, just that there is not that infamously big of a variety in them. The game is infamously pretty easy to 100% complete, and then when you're done you can do some more challenge missions and stuff, but you cannot go back to Seattle after you beat the game, which is a bummer, but unlike Uncharted The Lost Legacy, it's more worthy to be in your collection because it feels more of a game and stuff and everything. Infamously good game, just not the best, now the infamously negatives. Like an expansion, it is infamously over before you know it, lasting about 4 or 5 hours long. Some infamously unlikable characters. Not many infamously power-ups, very easy to 100% the game. There's some infamously frame rate issues, but not as bad. And the game is infamously too easy at times, and the point AI does not put much of an infamous challenge. And you cannot go back to Seattle after you complete the story, but still an infamously good game, just not the best. Final thoughts, if you did enjoy the other Infamous games like Infamous Second Son and stuff, Infamous First Light should not disappoint at all. It's still a good game, just a little lacking, because it's an expansion. I give it a 7 out of 10, because of the problems I have with it, but still a game that should not be overlooked at all if you want some infamous action with Abigail Fetch Walker. And that's it for episode 256, part 404. Stay tuned next, we're going to take a look at episode 257, what will we cover then? Lately we have gone from Motorstorm to Resistance Fall of Man, and the Uncharted franchise, and then we did Infamous and stuff and more. So what will we cover next? We'll have to find out in episode 257, part 1 of whatever part we do. That's all I gotta say. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment down below, and join my Discord group, TTBurger Gamers United, along with my Facebook group, TTBurger Gamers Group, along with my Facebook page called TTBurger 8, and just if you have a request, just comment down below. For this page, all I can say is Tony. Peace out, have a good day, and see you all in the next episode. Take care, everybody.